Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we take a peek into the often confusing world of corporate filings. Today we're diving into a report from Jamf Holding Corp, a company that helps organizations manage and secure Apple devices. It's like being a digital babysitter for iPhones and iPads. You might think reports like this are dry, but trust me, there's always a story to uncover. And today's story is about how Jamf is handling its growth, its profits, and what challenges lie ahead. Before we dive in, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can discuss these filings with other investors and experts. We are looking at an 8K filing. This is basically a corporate UPAS. We need to tell you something important form. Think of it as a company's way of quickly updating investors about significant events. The date to keep in mind is May 6, 2025. This is when Jamf decided to share some news with its investors. Okay, so the juicy bit we want to focus on is item 202, which is all about their financial health. This is where we find out how well Jamf is performing. The report covers the quarter that ended in March 2025. We're going to see how they did in the first 3 months of the year. To get all the details, we need to look at the press release they released on the same day. The company put out a press release talking about the financial results for the quarter that ended in March of 2025. This is where we get the numbers to analyze. Unfortunately, there are no real numbers here in the 8K, just the press release announcement. Now let's zoom out and put Jamf into context. They are in the business of managing and securing Apple devices for businesses, schools, and other organizations. With more and more companies relying on Apple products, Jamf plays a vital role in ensuring these devices are secure and easy to manage. Unfortunately, without access to the actual press release mentioned in the filing or financial tables, it's impossible to provide a detailed financial analysis or mention key numbers. However, we can still discuss what we would typically look for in such a situation and speculate on Jamf's performance based on industry trends. Normally in a situation like this, we would look at key metrics like revenue growth, profitability, and cash flow. We would also pay attention to their customer acquisition cost, customer retention rate, and any commentary on the overall market conditions. For example, how is the shift to remote work impacting their business? Are they seeing increased demand for their services as businesses? Try to manage and secure devices used by employees working from home. Also, what is their competition doing? In the absence of hard numbers, we would look for clues in the company's commentary. Are they expressing confidence in their ability to maintain their growth trajectory? Are they highlighting any particular challenges or risks? Are there any significant changes in their business strategy? Let's take a look at possible opportunities and risks for Jamf. On the opportunity side, the increasing adoption of Apple devices in the enterprise is a major tailwind for the company, as more and more businesses allow employees to use iPhones, iPads, and Macs. The need for management and security solutions like Jamf's will only increase. The growth in remote work also presents an opportunity for the company. However, there are also risks to consider. The market for device management and security is competitive with established players and new entrants vying for market share. Jamf needs to continue to innovate and differentiate itself to stay ahead of the competition. Another risk is the company's reliance on the Apple ecosystem. Any changes in Apple's strategy or technology could have a significant impact on Jamf's business. Now let's pretend we saw some numbers in that report. Let's say, for example, that Jamf's revenue grew by 15% compared to the same quarter last year. On the surface, that sounds pretty good, but it's important to dig a little deeper. Was that growth driven by new customers, or was it simply the result of price increases? Was the growth consistent across all of their product lines, or were some areas lagging behind? And most importantly, how does that 15% growth rate compare to their competitors? If their competitors are growing at 20% or 25%, then Jamf might be losing market share. Let's also say that their profitability declined during the quarter. Their expenses went up. That's not necessarily a red flag, but we would want to understand why. Are they investing heavily in research and development, which could pay off in the long run, or are they simply becoming less efficient? How are their investments in product development going? We can also look at something like customer retention rate. If they are losing customers left and right, that's a sign that something is wrong. It could be that their product isn't meeting customer needs or that their customer service is lacking. What we want to see is a healthy customer retention rate because that signals they can keep their customers happy. Another thing we might consider is the risk factors disclosed in their filings. These are things that could potentially harm the company's business. It could be anything from increased competition to changes in regulations to cybersecurity threats. While this particular 8K filing is pretty basic and doesn't give us a whole lot to sink our teeth into, it does remind us that companies are constantly communicating with their investors, and it's important to pay attention to these communications. Whether it's an 8K, a 10Q, or a press release, each filing tells a small piece of the company's story, and by putting all those pieces together, we can get a better understanding of the company's overall health and prospects. In summary, Jamf operates in a growing market with significant opportunities, but they also face challenges from competition and reliance on Apple. While we didn't see the specific financials, we know what to look for: revenue, growth, profitability, customer retention, and risk factors. Alright, that's our breakdown of Jamf's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.